and unifier is now in office. The breakdown starts now. Welcome back to the breakdown, everyone. Rick Wilson will be with us shortly. I am Maya May, aka Maya on Stage, and I am still recovering from what I saw today, which is, and for those of you who didn't watch the inauguration, we're going to break it down for you today, but I want to just go over really quickly just some of the highlights. First of all, Biden issued some pardons this morning, just so you know, preemptive pardons, because despite Trump saying that the justice system was, targeting him specifically, and he did nothing wrong, of course, he is definitely planning on sending his goons after Biden, his family, anybody on the J6 committee. So that happened. But what also happened was a normalization of fascism unlike anything I have ever seen in my life. When we turn on the news and we see a slate of news anchors speaking about today's inauguration as if this was a completely normal process for a man who staged a coup attempt to waltz his way back into office. I took my brain, like I was just like, is this really happening? And I had so many tabs open on my computer, and I was like going from tab to tab to tab, and I was like, surely somebody is going, what the, and like flipping their, that's all I wanted. I just wanted that one moment. And instead, what I got was a bunch of people just commenting on everything that is happening. And if someone had just woken up out of a coma, maybe like a 4-year-long coma, they would have watched the inauguration today and thought like, yes, go America, great. Everything is going wonderfully. And as you all know, that is not the case. And so, as you know, it was moved inside into the rotunda. It was a lot different than the last time the people who love Donald Trump were in the rotunda. And it was moved inside because it was too cold outside. And something that a lot of people were taking note of were the oligarchs abound everywhere, just oligarchs, all in tech CEOs who we at one point thought maybe liked democracy were also there celebrating Donald Trump and his inauguration. There they are. And, the Google CEO or Alphabet CEO, that smile, he had that same smile today. And I was like, why are you smiling so much? You actually look like you want to be there. And that was a little frustrating for me because I was like, I wanted to see a somber face, like, we have to be here. But instead, it was just these glowing, happy faces. It was a very, very frustrating. And of course, Jeff Bezos, and I saw his wife trying to like peek up over to like, they should have given her a little step stool because she was like trying to see. She would have missed Trump not putting his hand on the Bible, but she couldn't see that. So I am feeling very, very optimistic despite all of this because I'm just an optimistic person by nature. But at the same time, we got to talk about Donald Trump's move to being the unifier, the peacemaker. This is something that we absolutely all know is not true. And it's that kind of gaslighting that is meant to not just distract, but also cause disillusionment. It's one of those things that you can say to people and everybody who's been paying attention is going to feel unnerved by it and realize that, yes, this is what we're in for, more of the same. And he managed to even fit drill baby drill into his speech. And so to all the people who are like, both parties are the same, but then are also talking about climate crisis and climate change. Clearly, parties not the same at all. We got to talk about Melania's hat, though. I think we need to talk about the hat. But before we do, I want to. Oh, there we go. I honestly was worried. I thought Melania wasn't actually there. because it was like, was she trying to hide from a facial recognition monitor? Like, what exactly was happening that this was it's like such a brim. Like, very, I don't think we saw her eyes the entire time. Like, someone told her, you can't wear sunglasses to this. So sorry, because it is indoors. So sunglasses will be strange. So in order to hide her absolute disgust and disdain for her husband, she opted for a hat that it would at least shield the expression on her face. And so I'm pretty sure that is what happened. But the fact that it wasn't outside kind of pissed off some of the MAGA folks who, despite the high cost of eggs, managed to put together thousands of dollars to travel to DC to actually see the inauguration, and they were hoping to see it outside. We have a clip of them and some of their disappointment.
So we're not going to get to see it in person then. Is that correct?
That's right.
Well, I don't like it. I mean, we came all the way from Washington, from Oklahoma, and now we're not going to get to see it. We might as well stay home and watch it on TV.
It sucks. Let me rephrase that. It's not good.
Yeah, it's actually something that we've been looking forward to for historical purposes, and being a part of it, that's once in a lifetime.
Absolutely.
We made all the plans, all the arrangements to come up and be a part of this event, and all of a sudden to hear that it's being moved indoors,
we're prepared for the weather. It's not a problem.
It's kind of like a bummer.
It is, yeah. It's not.
Cold ain't gonna hurt nobody. And we have farms, and we don't get to not feed the cows because it's cold.
We don't get to not feed the cows because it's cold. I love that for him. I do think it's interesting, though, that they're so like casual. Like, these supporters are so enraged about so many things, but not enraged about the fact that they had to spend all of this money to travel to the freezing cold, neglecting whatever their duties are to their cows or whatever they were doing in Florida. And then Donald Trump leaves them out in the cold. Now, keep in mind, remember, Donald Trump had plenty of rallies where he had people in the freezing cold and had no problem with that whatsoever. As a matter of fact, I think buses weren't even showing up to shuttle people back to the parking lots and to the cars the way they were meant to. And they were fine with that. And now here, these people are out in the cold, and Donald Trump is warm and toasty indoors. Some people were prepared for it, though. They were well dressed in matching scarves. I don't know if you saw the Proud Boys doing their little thing. We have a clip.
1% on the top. Fuck Joe Biden. Fuck Joe Biden. Joe Biden. Fuck Antifa. Fuck Antifa. On street. Tighten it up. Bring that ass up, man. Let's go. Bring it up.
Sunday and Monday.
Hey, there he is. There's the man I was like, join me or what? Hi.
Well, nothing like starting your day with the reimposition of the Trump regime, and to see his shock troops, the Proud Boys, marching in the streets.
In matching scarves and outfits.
It really is a great way to kick off. If you're trying to convince us you're not a bunch of fascists, maybe not having the Proud Boys in a parade is one of the things you might want to do.
Yeah, well, what's interesting to me is that they're still mad. Like, they're saying, fuck Joe Biden. I'm like, Joe Biden's not going to be the president in like 5 seconds. So is that all you got?
Well, look, I think, and folks, I'm going to sound a little weird today because I have been sick as a dog and my voice is kind of shot, but I'm here for y'all. Look, I think that all Trump supporters right now need to adjust their expectations to basically zero. This is not going to be easy for them. it's not going to be the promised land. They're not going to get their fantasies of deporting every single person in the world. They're not going to get they're not going to change society overnight into the weird vision they have for it. But I will say this, and I want to say this to our audience, and I'm sorry I couldn't have joined you guys right at the top of the hour, and Maya may have already covered this, but you are not helpless. This is not hopeless. This is the beginning of the downfall of Trump. Today is his very, very, very best day. Today's the best day he's ever going to have in the rest of his life. This is it. This is it. Now the rubber's going to hit the road. Reality is going to collide with their bullshit. And the good guys get to have their say. There's this belief in Washington right now among the media and of course the establishment types, the lobbyists, the money people, that nobody else gets a vote. Nobody else gets a voice. Nobody else gets to play. Well, you still do get to play. You still do get a voice. You still do have the ability to speak out. Now, look, they may try to take that away at some point, but while we can, we must. So, look, folks, at the Lincoln Project, we have worked against this guy. We're 1-1 on Donald Trump. We worked against him for a very long time. We wish we could have helped beat him this year. We wish we could have helped knock his ass into the dustbin of history once and for all. Didn't work out that way. So now we have to get back in the fight and do what we can. And all of us, not just the Lincoln Project, but collectively in society, we have to go out and work our asses off now to defeat this guy legislatively, politically. We're pushing back hard against his appointments already. And so it's going to be a fight every day, but it's a fight that we're not helpless in this fight. We're not hopeless in this fight. We've had longer odds in this country a million different times. This guy is crazy. And by the way, the second speech in the breakout room, which apparently may still be going on, I don't know, was absolutely batshit bonkers, off the wall cuckoo town. And you think that's going to get any better?
I'm really sorry I missed that. A lot of people are like, wow, you're doing God's work watching this stuff. And I'm like, no, I actually enjoy watching somebody like Trump try to play his games and because when I see it, I was like, their one hope is that people will become disgusted by what they're doing. That they'll be disgusted by the fact that everybody put in so much effort, and it seems like there's two justice systems, one for him and one for everybody else, and that he was able to get away with everything that he did. And they're expecting everybody to be disgusted with Joe Biden, to be disgusted with Kamala Harris, to be disgusted with Merrick Garland. And what we really need to do, if we really want to win this, is to say, hey, that shit happened. That was the past. Figure out a better game plan going forward. We have bad habits as a country that we need to address and figure those things out and move forward. But what we can't do is be disgusted, because if we allow ourselves to be disgusted, the next thing that comes after disgusting that is saying, I walk away from politics. I don't.
That's surrendering at that point. And I just choose not to. I categorically choose not to surrender.
Absolutely. And I think for a lot of people, though, they're tired. Like, I want to acknowledge that. And I want to acknowledge some of the DMs that I get and people reaching out saying, we're tired, we're exhausted. And I'm like, yeah, I get that. But with anything, we can't expect this fight to be easy. And I think there was a period of time where it felt like it was really going to come together, and people were like, yes, this is it. And so when we left it all on the floor, I think people were like, oh shit, I left it all on the floor, and it didn't work. And I think that's because we didn't calculate for a lot of things that today in the news coverage of the inauguration, I was a little disappointed that didn't get brought up, like all of the disinformation campaigns that were being pushed by Russia. Like, you don't hear anything about tenant media anymore. You don't hear anything about, and so and if we don't hear about it, then it makes it that much more difficult for us to figure out how to fight against it, because it's like, oh, it just never happened. It didn't exist. He just won on his own merit, which we know.
Look, folks, it was a complicated set of reasons why he won. But it actually, if you want to be reductive about it, Donald Trump successfully appealed to the worst instincts of the worst Americans and built a base that could not be broken. He added on to that behavioral republicanism. He added on to that a phony economic message that oddly enough, all the BS from today's main speech and all the BS from the second speech in the breakout area, there's nothing there that's going to reduce the price of eggs or groceries. In fact, the things they're doing and saying they're going to do are going to increase the prices of commodity goods like eggs and groceries. A lot of the things he's talking about doing are these fantasies for the base, and a lot of them are thrown out there, folks. I want to be very clear about this. A lot of them are thrown out there to upset you, to make you feel crazy, to make you respond with anger or hysteria. I always recommend responding more coldly to these people and more sarcastically to these people, because a lot of things they're going to do, like getting rid of DEI in the government departments. Okay, you know what? There's not much you can do about it, but there's also not much political viability to making that argument right now. But you do want to show they don't have their eye on the ball. They do want to show they're not focusing on the economy, which they promised people a new golden era. You do want to show that these tariffs they're going to try to push through are not going to help people, but they're going to be a tax on them. And I'm sorry, I'm squeaking a little bit, folks. I have been sick for 9 days, and I'm like, I hate being sick. Well, not first off, but I hate being sick when I lose my voice. Secondly, because it's just miserable for me. But
Yes.
This idea that they're going to give the MAGA people what they want is a lie. It was always all about the tax cuts for Elon and Jeff Bezos and the rest of the guys on that stage today, who, when you look at the disturbing symmetry of this picture today, you have his cabinet members in the second row, and you have 6 of the largest, the CEOs of the largest companies in the country and the world, who control most of the methods of communication in the country. You really get a preview. That's not about the guy in the red hat and the pickup truck. It's about Jeff Bezos. It's about Sundar Pichai. It's about Tim Cook. And by the way, I know Sundar and Tim are not like Bezos, and I know they're not like Musk, and I know they're not like Zuckerberg, but they still allowed themselves to be paraded like trained animals on a stage for Donald Trump's purposes today. So I do have a little bit of agita on that. But the things that the MAGA base expected and wanted and craved are not going to happen the way they want them to happen. You're going to see a lot of stuff to upset you in the coming days. Oh, mass deportations. This whole first thing is not a mass deportation. It's boob bait for the rubes. It's throwing something out there so he can say, oh my God. And that expectation that every liberal, every progressive, every centrist in the country is going to go, every never Trumper, going to go crazy on each and everything and exhaust themselves. It's probably true for a lot of people. You got to learn to pace yourself in these fights, folks. Pick the big fights. So
yeah, I was just saying, and to that point, Rick, I think there are a lot of people who rode the wave of anger, a lot of the MAGA base who thought they were winning in their mind by owning the libs. And that's going to fade. That anger is going to start to fade over the coming. Obviously, Fox News and et al. And all of those are going to try to gin up this anger. But eventually, people are going to start to see the reality of those egg prices not coming down, of their lives not being materially better than they are right now. It's like you can only ride on rage for so long. Like, what will they have to be angry about other than the fact that Trump isn't?
Well, I mean, here's the thing.
The things that he said.
If you don't respond to, I'll give you one of the most specious, bullshitty arguments that Trump is making, because it's pure trolling. When they start talking about the Gulf of America, walk away, ignore it, laugh about it, look in their face and go, yeah, that's really going to bring grocery prices down. When's that going to happen? When are you going to bring down the price of eggs? When's that going to happen? How does that change anything? But don't react to the trolling things particularly. And the DEI stuff is a troll on their part. They want you to overreact. The Gulf of America, it's a troll on their part. A lot of the things that they're going to do are trolling, and the owning the libs keeps their base together. Your outrage at every single thing keeps their base together because like, Trump's pissing off those liberals. I like that. Selectively picking the ones that are the worst of the worst. Like today, Trump took a giant shit on the Constitution by saying, oh, we're going to undo birthright citizenship by an amendment. No, we're just going to undo it. If you're a constitutional conservative, as I am, or if you're a principled liberal, as Maya is, and many other people are, you look at saying the president can erase parts of the Constitution at will, and you're outraged. You should be. That's a real thing. Gulf of America, Greenland, that's just trolling. They're just fucking with you. And they want you to exhaust yourself. They want you to be they want the cortisol to be so jacked in your body that you just go, fuck it, I'm out. Don't be out. You got to stay in the game.
Yeah. Yes, no, 100%. And here, so the thing that is, while all of this chaos and distraction is happening, this guy is making like so much money already off of his presidency. And so like the whole Bitcoin thing, we know the crypto fanatics are all over this presidency because they want to figure out a way to eventually make this a currency that they can actually use, as opposed to, yes, there we are. Even
by the way, yesterday when they said you can now buy Melania, I was like, now? MAGA got very mad at me. They were very angry. Excuse me. But yeah, the fact that Trump pumped and dumped a shitcoin, ironically, all these crypto guys who love Trump so much, Mark Andreessen, Peter Thiel, all these crypto bros that were doing this, okay? Trump doing this Bitcoin scam actually hurts their argument that crypto is more legitimate now than it has been, that it's not a Ponzi scheme, it's not a pump and dump, it's not a ripoff. But Trump just absolutely did the thing that would be the most possible, the worst possible scenario for the credibility of crypto. And as I said I actually said it to a crypto guy that I know very well, is a big crypto advocate. I was like, crypto meet ETTD. So I tweeted it after. And you know, he was a guy who's like really thoughtful, more thoughtful. He's not like a crazy guy. He's like, I want to move economic transactions to the blockchain and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, you're not going to get your wish now because Trump just fucked people for billions of dollars. And the people that bought this shitcoin of Trump's, it's down 40% so far today. Trump cashed out immediately, guys. He took $1 billion right off the top.
You know who also just did that? The one that was right before this? It was the Hook Toa girl.
Hook Toa girl, yes.
So you have our new president, and I don't know how, is it Hook Toa? I should know this. I have a teenager.
It's Hook Toa.
Hook Toa. Okay, so our president and the Hook Toa girl are on the same wavelength, the same right there together. And so I think that we shouldn't fear this guy, I guess is what I'm saying.
Look, I tell people this a lot, Maya. I mean this, folks, from the bottom of my heart. You should fear the intentions of the people around Trump more than you should fear Trump. Stephen Miller, Tom Homan, Vaught in the Office of Management Budget, Bannon, all the constellation of neo-fascists around Trump and authoritarians around Trump. The great thing about this whole plan of theirs, their 100-day plan, is that by, I don't know, sometime on Friday, Trump is going to go, oh, is that a squirrel? And go chase it. And part of what we're going to do at the Lincoln Project is keep throwing the squirrels in front of him. We're going to keep dividing his people. You know, we've been fighting against J.D. Vance since he came onto this VP. Trump does not trust J.D. Vance fully, partly because of some of the work we did during the campaign. We're working now on making sure Trump sees Pete Hegseth as an embarrassment to him, not as a shiny, handsome face. And by the way, Pete wore the same tacky colored suit he did at his hearings that he did today. Faux pas, my friend. I'm not exactly a fashion god or anything, but even I know that rule. But Trump, it will be distracted and distractible. The political cost of the things he's going to want people to do and do for him is going to rise and rise and rise. And again, the only easy day was today. After this, people are looking at their own re-elections in 2026. After today, right now, today, there are people in Ron DeSantis's world and Nikki Haley's world and Donald Trump Jr.'s world and all these other people who are like, all right, who's my team for president in 2028? They're already playing the game. They're already moving forward. They're already moving the ball down. Excuse me, guys. Sorry. I'm doing as best I can.
I know.
They're already moving the ball down
over there.
And that's going to become a distraction. And we're going to also try to do at the Lincoln Project. And folks, I just want to say this. Let me take it a quick aside. We're not going anywhere, guys. As long as you help us, we're not going anywhere. You tell us to stay in the fight, we're going to stay in the fight. Okay. We can't do it without you. If you want to go to lincolnproject.us/donate at any point, whether it's today or tomorrow or some other time, deeply appreciated. Keeps the lights on in this place and keeps the fight going. But our intention is to stay in this fight. Our belief is that we play a unique role in this fight. Our commitment to you is that we will never shy away from this fight. As long as we've got the juice and the fuel in the tank to keep going, we'll keep going. I've said this a lot. I really, 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 really wanted Donald Trump to lose. I really wanted to spend right now. If Donald Trump had lost, I would hope I would be enjoying a nice chilly day in DC, and then going back to writing books and watching my granddaughter grow up, and spending time with Renee and having a life.
And I was going to be doing stand-up.
Yes, I know. And all of us. All I
wanted to do was just do comedy again.
Right. Instead of the unintentional comedy of errors that we're in now. But all of us here at Lincoln believe that the loss in the election doesn't mean that you get permission to stop fighting. Alexei Navalny, who Vladimir Putin killed, his main political opponent, who he had murdered in prison, said something one time that struck me in the heart. You are not allowed to give up. Folks, you're not allowed to give up. None of us are. Oh God, I sound like RFK now. These vaccines, but you're not allowed to give up. And the permission, giving yourself permission to leave the fight or to stop speaking out or to just let it happen is the darkest thing you can do. You'll never live it down. You'll never be able to tell your kids or your grandkids why you stopped. They will never understand it if you do. So, sorry, guys, I am totally losing my voice.
Yeah, drink that water. Well, this is what I'm going to say. Don't give up. Never give up, but it's okay to sob a little bit. I want to give people the permission to let it all out, because especially for those of us who are in LA, there's a lot of stress going on right now. And so I think sometimes it's a little too much. And so I think we can all give ourselves permission to go through it, because that's how I keep my optimism going, is like, I allow myself to have those moments where I'm like, allow yourselves the collective screaming in the car when it's necessary, because that will release that tension and give you the energy to keep going forward. Because otherwise it's like you can be this pinball to everything that's happening in the world. I know when TikTok got the TikTok ban, what do we even call it? What do we call it when TikTok goes away for 2 seconds when it didn't actually need to go away yet, but Trump wanted to be able to take?
By the way, did you see the Fox News Chiron earlier?
Oh, I missed it.
They misspelled TikTok and it said Titcock.
I I will go looking for that kind of typo. I'm sure somebody did that on purpose. I'd like to believe, but like anybody who
Do we
has dealt
have
with
that?
an abusive,
Do we have that in the
yeah,
in the
I
bin?
was like, find that, please. Yes. But anybody who's dealt with an abusive person knows this game, right? Where they cause the problem, where they punch you in the face, they do the thing, and then they come back and they're like, oh, we're gonna just, everything's fine now, and I'm the one who's gonna fix it, and it's this complete like continuation as if the past didn't exist. And I feel like that's the presidency that we're in. Like this whole TikTok thing was just a reminder of how he
Look,
operates.
Donald Trump and everybody in MAGA 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, were like,
oh my God. That's the new name now, actually. Forevermore.
I'm never calling it anything but TikTok from now on.
It will be Titcock forever and ever.
Forever and ever. Amen. TikTok.
It's a good name for it.
It is.
You know, but the hysteria that people felt.
One thing I was thinking about is the idea that Trump has, sorry guys, I'm really ragged here. The idea that Trump has an easy time ahead. I want people to really think about this. Mike Johnson can lose 1 or 2 votes on anything ever. We can't deliver. John Thune, right now, they're at the peak of Trump's power when it comes to these appointments. It will not get easier. Power always diminishes in the second term. I mean, look, y'all may not love him, and y'all may not, and some of y'all may love it. Hey, both these guys did the same thing essentially. When George W. Bush started his second term, he said, I've earned a lot of political capital. I'm going to go out and spend it. We're going to do all these things. Well, within a few weeks, he didn't have any political capital left. And Barack Obama had the same kind of agenda. He's like, I'm resounding re-election. I'm going to go out and do these. Power always, Reagan, same story. Clinton had other externalities. But in all these cases, power goes fast. And the fear Trump had, the power of Trump scaring these people, it will run into their ambition to become the next Trump. And it's going to be a fascinating thing. And when you get down to it, interestingly enough, Mike DeWine in Ohio and Ron DeSantis in Florida, they didn't choose Trump's candidates for the U.S. Senate. They said no to Trump. Now, I'm not praising them for that. I'm just observing that these are 2 people who ordinarily would be like, Mr. Trump, can I come and wash your car? Would you like it detailed and turtle waxed? They don't have the same, the incentives for fearing Trump will be there for a long time, but they will not be as potent and as powerful as they are right this minute. So all these things are going to start to collide with reality. And even the Supreme Court in the last 2 weeks has defied Trump twice, not like aggressively in an ugly way, but he expects obedience from everybody, not resistance. So
yeah, I think the one, I don't want to call him a wild card, but I do want to just address the Elon thing.
Sure.
Because he's going to be a
He cheats at video games. What's lower than that?
Yeah. But he's going to have his office in the Oval. And I feel like, when Trump needs to get worried when he sees Elon and JD Vance getting along too well. I think that's what I want to look out for.
Oh, look, if I was Trump, I would be looking at JD Vance and wondering if I should get a food taster.
Exactly. And I don't like, and it shouldn't, if the drink or the food is passed to him by Elon Musk, I would be even more concerned.
Yeah, because I can't see Trump tripping on ketamine.
Yeah. Maybe.
right,
Rick, your
guys.
voice, I feel.
My voice
Yeah, we gotta. You gotta go get tea.
On Thursday with more hijinks and shenanigans, and hopefully I'll sound like a human again.
Yes, please have tea, have broth, have all of the things.
Stay strong, everybody. We're here with you in this fight. We're not going to quit. You don't quit either, because listen, he is a powerful man, but he is still just Donald Trump. We can beat him. Done it before. See y'all soon.
So.
Inauguration Day, the day where the eyes of America and the world turned to Washington to watch the peaceful transfer of power. For nearly 250 years, it was a moment in which Americans could take pride, regardless of party or politics. But not this time. This time, the man swearing the oath of office today has proven already who he is. A liar, a felon, a thug. To pretend he's not a danger to this country puts our rights, our lives, and our futures at risk. He's a sucker for oligarchs and special interests. Patsy for our enemies, an embarrassment. Right now, Trump and his allies want you afraid. They want you helpless, to give up. Donald Trump is president again. No one is denying that. But America is bigger than this man, bigger than this moment, bigger than the future he intends to build, and the past he wants to bring back. We're the American people, and the future is still ours to build. So let's get to work.